Ms. Moore, you've provided a court report today, and included in that is your court report, the case service plans for both the parents, a notice of adverse benefit determination for Ms. Lumley as relates to the Odyssey House. There was an IPS for Ms. Lumley, the ICWA denial letter from the BIA, and then Ms. Lumley's probation discharge orders. Are there any other documents that you've circulated since filing that packet?
No, there are not.
And are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to your court report or the attachments that I listed off?
I only have a couple of updates. Matthew and I did get a meeting scheduled for me and him to meet this Friday, the 24th at 10 a.m. So that is a new update. Christina did complete the vaccination refusal, and I got the refusal letter from the DHHS. I can either file that with the courts today or wait until my next court report. And then the only other updates are just kind of fun ones. KW's first birthday is tomorrow, so that's exciting. And then she was also able to see her brother and sister yesterday, and they had just a fun day playing together, and then they got dinner afterwards, which was very nice, the family reported to me.
And as it relates to the parents, how would you describe each of their level of compliance with and benefit from their case service plans?
I would say Matthew's compliance is very minimal. The real only thing he's done was scheduled a meeting with me. For Christina's compliance, I would say she's doing well. She's doing everything that's offered to her at the Odyssey House, and she's maintaining her sobriety through that.
Your report indicates that Ms. Lumley has I'm going to use the word graduated into the next phase and is in maybe transitional housing, but she's no longer living on the campus. Is that your understanding, or can you tell us more about that?
Correct. She is now living at the Saginaw transitional housing instead of the Flint residential program.
Okay. And how is parenting time going with the parents?
Matthew Wright has not participated in parenting time at all. Parenting time for Christina is going really well. She does provide all the needed supplies like wipes, bottles, all of those things. And when I am able to watch her visit, things go very well.
Has there been any discussion about expanding mom's parenting time?
There has been discussions, but we have not moved forward with additional parenting times. The biggest issue is the transportation. I believe that it's unrealistic to ask Kenzie to be in the car for 4 hours and then have a 2-hour visit twice a week. But if we were able to meet in Ann Arbor or Midway, if we were able to meet somewhere, we could definitely get additional parenting times added.
Is there any risk of harm to the child if there were to be like overnights or anything, extended parenting times with Miss Lumley at her current residence?
I think my biggest concern would be the lack of supervision at the house. I believe there's only one worker there majority of the time. They are on Zoom right now, so they could clarify. That's my understanding, is that there's minimal worker or supervision.
Okay. And through the supervised parenting time, there have been no concerns though, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you still not have the psychological report for Miss Lumley?
I do not. We have been having issues with Dr. Haugen. I did reach out to the Lenawee DHHS, and they said they were going to follow up with Dr. Haugen's assistant.
Okay. And at this time, how would you describe the risk of harm for the child if she were to be returned to either parent's care and custody today?
So for Matthew, I would suspect that there's likely risk of harm to domestic violence, homelessness, or unstable housing. I have not received any employment verification, so I assume that there would be some sort of money mismanagement going on. And then for Miss Lemley, housing would be a concern considering she doesn't have her own private housing. She still does not have employment either, so money mismanagement would be a concern as well.
The report indicates that recently Miss Lemley disclosed that Mr. Wright may not be the biological or is not the biological father of the child. Do you have any, can you just elaborate on that issue?
Yes, so I went to a parenting time in December and she had reported to me that Matthew Wright is not Kenzie or KW's biological father. And she gave a name of who potentially could be. She reported that they sat down and discussed all three of them together, but beyond that, I am not sure.
Did you have, was there any indication that either of the legal parents wanted this third individual to become involved?
I'm not sure. I know that the three of them did sit down, or at least that's what Miss Lemley's reporting is, that the three of them sat down and discussed who was kind of going to step up. But beyond that, I am not sure.
No.
Your report requests that parenting time for dad be, Mr. Wright, be suspended at this time. Can you just briefly state what the risk of harm would be if there were to be any parenting time with him?
There has been a breakdown of the parent-child bond. Matthew has not seen his child since the beginning of this case. So there has been a significant time without him being compliant or participating.
Is there anything else from your report that you'd like to highlight or from your knowledge of the case?
I do not believe so.
Thank you. Your Honor, at this point, I have no further questions of Ms. Moore and would move to admit the court report with the attachment.
No objection.
No objection.
Ms. Underwood?
I have no objection. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The court report and the attachments are admitted into evidence. We were looking for the inquiries that were sent out as of the last court hearing. Were you able to locate those or secure a copy of those through DHS?
I just reached out to the ICWA and they searched up the child's name and then they sent me that letter.
Well, there's like a form that gives them the information that they need in order to try to do the research for the child. Was that you? Did you use that?
I believe so. I included in my last report whatever we sent to ICWA, if that's what you're asking for, or if there's something I'm missing.
Yes, as of the last court hearing, I had confirmation that they had received something, and I think even a couple of letters, but not a copy of what was actually sent to the tribes. And so that was part of the last order, was to provide that for this court report.
Okay, I can reach out to DHS and obtain that.
Thank
and
you.
I could, would you prefer me to file it today or with the next one?
Just with the next court report.
Okay, I can do that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And then the individual plan of service attachment, what service provider is this through? Because it's not clear, and maybe I missed it, but I'm having trouble figuring out if this is what.
It would be through the Odyssey House.
Okay, thank you, that helps. Okay, questions for this witness, Mr. McFarland?
Attention shifts to the delayed psychological evaluation. Mother's attorney presses the caseworker about why critical results still have not arrived after months of waiting.
I do. It's been about 90 days since my client has had her psychological evaluation with Dr. Hogan, correct?
Correct.
Is there really a need for the results if it's been 90 days with no issues?
I would like to obtain them since she went and did it.
Well, kind of hard to incorporate anything into the plan this late in the game though, right?
Not necessarily if that's her recommendation from the report.
Well, our clock's been ticking for 90 days and there is a time frame, you understand, in which she has to complete her case service plan. And it comes in at the last minute, she's going to be greatly hindered by that, right?
Correct.
Okay. How long approximately has my client had supervised parenting time?
The duration of the case.
It's about how long now?
Mm,
Just an estimate.
about a little over 6 months, I would
Okay,
say.
and there's been no negative reports whatsoever with the supervised parenting time, correct?
Correct.
So realistically, what is your objection with unsupervised parenting time if there's been 6 months of supervised parenting time with no issues whatsoever?
My concerns are once she gets out of the house, having to continue the unsupervised visitations.
Well, what about giving her supervised parenting time while she's at the house right now?
If that's allowed, if I can do it unsupervised while she's at the house and then return back to supervised once she gets out, I am more than happy to do that.
Okay. Or would you even consider exploring continuing the supervised once she gets out? Or the unsupervised when she gets out?
I would consider it, but I want to see stability after getting out of the program. That's my main concern.
Well, she having overnights right now?
No,
So if she's out of the house, she could still have unsupervised at a park, at a McDonald's, at a mall, something of that nature, right?
yes.
So what stability are you looking for in the couple-hour visits? I don't understand that.
What was your question?
Okay. Unsupervised visits, you're okay with starting them now where she's at, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then once she gets out, you said you would consider going back to supervised. But what's the concern when you're having a couple hours unsupervised at a mall, a park, a restaurant? What's your real concern?
My concern is just seeing the stability after she gets out of the isolated home that she's in.
What do you mean by stability?
I want to see continued sobriety,
Okay.
Stable housing, stable connections.
Well, housing has nothing to do with visiting a child at a mall, at a park, at a restaurant, correct?
Correct,
You can do a drug screen prior to a visit, correct?
correct.
When could you begin the unsupervised parenting time?
I would say I'd like to see like a month when she gets out of rehab to see kind of how she reacts to getting out into the free world.
Well, I thought you just told me right now, though, you're willing to start unsupervised at her Odyssey House transitional housing, correct?
Correct.
So when could you start that?
I could start it Thursday.
Okay. And if you guys were to meet, let's say in Ann Arbor, you would provide transportation for her from where she is to Ann Arbor?
For Christina or for the
Correct, for my
child?
client.
No, I would not.
Why not?
That wouldn't be me driving 2 hours to Saginaw to drive an hour down to drive an hour back up to Saginaw to drive 2 hours back
Well, by
here.
assistance, I mean, you could give her a gas card. You could pay for her to hire somebody to drive her down,
I
correct?
could provide gas cards, yes.
Okay. And how frequent are her visits right now?
Once a week for 2 hours.
Child's how old?
She'll be a year tomorrow.
So you would agree that you're familiar that this court typically allows a parent 3 visits per week at 2 hours of visits. You're aware of that, having been on many cases, correct?
Correct.
So do you see how we could incorporate 6 hours per week visit with my client and her child?
Do I see how we could do that?
Yes. Have you explored that?
If she's able to meet us halfway.
Okay. So are we looking at perhaps a combination of meeting halfway and a combination of the child getting up there to her facility for visits in a home type setting?
The easiest would be meeting halfway for all of it. The child's getting to the point where she hates being in the car. So 4 hours in the car for one day is a lot for a 1-year-old.
Is there any reason why there couldn't be an overnight visit supervised up where my client is?
Not in particular, no.
That's not been explored, right?
It has not, no.
Would that be now?
We can definitely discuss it, yes.
Would that be through a family team meeting, maybe within the next 10 days?
The next 10 days is a push, but in the next probably 2 weeks, I could do it.
Okay. Nothing further.
Questions, Mr. Brooks?
At the moment, at least, my client, Mr. Matthew Wright, is classified as the legal father of Kenzie, is that right?
That's correct.
What was the mechanism by which he was declared the legal father?
I believe he signed the affidavit of parentage and the birth certificate.
Okay. And when did it become a question whether he was the biological father?
Mid-December, it was before the holidays, but after the first week and a half. I couldn't tell you the specific date.
Do you, of your own personal knowledge, know whether Mr. Wright is aware of this claim that perhaps he's not the father?
From what has been reported to me, the two parents have discussed it, but I have not discussed it personally with Mr. Wright.
So you don't know what his position is?
No.
Discussion returns to the paternity issue. Questions arise regarding when doubts first surfaced and whether the father truly understands the implications.
Just what Miss Lemley has reported.
That's all.
Questions, Ms. Underwood?
Ms. Moore, have you been able to personally see the location that Miss Lemley is living in right now?
I have been able to see like the first floor area where they do the visit.
Has there always been a supervisor present during the visits at the new location?
Yes, I believe so.
Are you aware of how many people are living in that home?
I am not, no.
And you believe it would be appropriate at this time to expand from a 2-hour visit to an overnight?
I think that's a big stretch all in one go.
Okay. Now, the foster placement has actually been doing all of the driving every week. Is that correct?
Yeah, majority of the time.
Okay. Has there been any discussions of the department assisting with that transportation?
Yeah, we assist when it's needed. In December, I assisted twice.
Okay. What, from the visits that you have assisted with, how does the child interact with her mother?
She interacts well. She goes up to her. I think she understands that that's mom from what I have seen so far. Interactions are good. She's normal, happy baby.
All right, thank you. I have no further questions.
Redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Recross, Mr. McFarland?
No, thanks.
Mr. Brooks?
No.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. May I return your seat? Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I ask that Ms. Lemley be sworn in.
That means Ms. Christina Lumley joins us by Zoom.
Lemley, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Lumley, did you have an opportunity to review the court report for today's hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and was there anything in there that you felt was not accurate?
There was one mention where my oldest two biological children are placed with their maternal aunt. They are placed with their maternal grandmother. In addition to Ms. Moore has also received my discharge paperwork from residential, my discharge and completion paperwork from residential. And the estimated time of stay in the housing program is 9 months.
And the housing program that you just referenced, is that the transitional housing that you're in right now?
Yes, I believe in
Okay.
one of the previous exhibits, there was literature submitted to the court on the Rubicon housing program. That would be what this is classified as.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know that. Are there any areas in your case service plan that you need additional support in?
Um, I think the only thing in my case services plan that I have not been able to acquire or complete yet, would be the employment, which I just had some pretty extensive dental work done, so I'm getting to a point now that I'm healed enough to be able to start applying for jobs. And past that, I I don't get any notifications or anything pertaining to like doctor's appointments or anything like that to be able to, I think it's item 16, participate in doctor's appointments, dental appointments, and extracurricular activities by any means necessary. I'm, I don't get information on as to when those are to be able to participate in that manner. Um, say outside of that, um, about the only other thing I can think of that's not in the case services plan would be a little bit of assistance with transportation. So as previously stated, gas cards or the ability to get a bus pass up here.
Okay.
But that I do believe would be about it. I think I've pretty much figured out and managed covering all of the rest of the items to be compliant with my case services plan.
Okay. And so as it relates to parenting time, if there were, is it possible from your perspective to meet halfway at all?
I absolutely can figure it out.
Okay. And what would parenting time look like, in your current living situation?
Are we talking just like a couple of hours, or are we referring to overnights?
Well, for either, I mean, just help us understand what that would look like. If it's unsupervised, is the child with you in like a room, or is it more of an apartment? Help us understand what this looks like for the child.
When she gets here, we do have, I get what do you call the locks? Code. All of our doors have locks on them that you have to put a code into to enter the building. And it's a full house. Multiple bathrooms. I have been accommodations have been made and arrangements that I do have my own private room with my own private bathroom. In the anticipation of gaining parenting time with Kenzie. So we come in Monday through Friday. Typically, we do stay downstairs, the residents. We do groups here at the house, which she is more than welcome to participate in. This last time when she was here, we ran a small little quick group that she came in, and I think she even participated in about half of it with us. So we hang out. There's a full kitchen and everything. I have obtained some toys and things for her. I have obtained multiple items of clothing and things that I've actually sent back with her foster family to participate in helping care for her back there along with here. When she gets hungry, I have a high chair here that she sits in to eat. And I mean, really outside of that, if I don't ever leave the house with her, I've never really asked permission to leave the house with her. I always, stay here and stay downstairs. When she does get kind of grumpy or tired, I may take her up into my room and we'll, like this last time she was here, I took her up and we laid on my bed and she drank a bottle and watched some Hey Franklin for a minute, until she was done with her bottle. And then we came back downstairs and she had lunch in the high chair.
Thank you for that. And then as it relates to the paternity matter, can you just give us some insight as to, I guess, what you would like to happen with that?
I wasn't informing Miss Moore for anything specifically to happen with it. It had clicked with me in some of the paperwork, it had said that Matthew was her biological father. And I got to thinking about that if they were looking for any Native American descent.
The mother offers a detailed picture of her transitional housing environment. She describes secured facilities, private accommodations, child-friendly spaces, toys, meals.
On his side, in all reality, we don't know if he or an acquaintance of ours is her biological father. So on the off chance that it came back he was not her biological father, I didn't want them looking for Native American descent there when they needed to be looking on the other participants' family side, just so that if something did happen to come back from Native American descent on his side of the family, biologically there's the possibility that that wouldn't necessarily be true. So I just wanted to make sure that I was, honest and upfront with the court that, if it came back with any Native American descent on somebody who was not actually biologically hers, that, nobody got in trouble for, lying to the court or anything like that. But as far as any of us are concerned, yes, Matthew did sign her affidavit of parentage. She is on her birth certificate. Him, myself, and the other participant did have a conversation prior to her birth about the fact that, it may come out that biologically she is not Matthew's. However, we were all in agreement that the other participant, he was not required nor obligated to do anything for her. He's never met her, never seen her. By all intents and purposes and for all matters, Matthew is her dad. I just didn't want the court to find out later that, any Native American descent wasn't true through him and have it appear that we had lied to the court. That was my only motive for informing Miss Moore of that. And I did
Okay,
explain all of that to her.
Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that understanding. I have no further questions.
Okay, questions, Mr. McFarland?
Yes, Ms. Lemley, when you and Mr. Wright signed the acknowledgement of paternity, you both knew, am I hearing that there might be another father, another male who might be her biological father? Is that what I'm hearing?
As far as DNA goes, yes, there is that possibility, but Matthew and I both had the conversation about it and discussed it in quite length and quite in depth. And we did not go the route of doing a paternity test because it didn't matter to either one of us which way it came out, with him being the, DNA contributor to her or this other person. He is her father.
Right, but what I'm getting at though is that when you both signed this document, you both had at least doubts that he was the biological father, correct?
Yes, there is a chance that
Okay, and you two were never married, correct?
correct.
Okay. And do you have a crib where you're at right now?
I do not have a crib, but I do have access to a pack and play. But I can acquire a crib. There's a couple different programs that I've already been in communication with up here about supplying larger baby needs if and when it came to the opportunity of having her more than just the couple of hours.
Okay, you jumped to my next question. The worker is agreeable to having a family team meeting to discuss what your future parenting time might look like, unsupervised, overnights, etc. Could you attend that and also have a representative of your placement there to answer questions?
Yes, myself would be there, and with me, I have my recovery coach, Kirsten, and then one of the other participants in the Zoom hearing right now, I believe her name is listed as Blaine. She is my therapist. She also can contribute to that.
Okay, I see her nodding her head. I'll ask her if she's willing to participate in that also. You mentioned a bus. Can you take a bus from where you are to Ann Arbor? Have you checked into that?
I know I can get to Birch Run. I know I can get to Frankenmuth, and Bay City. I'm not exactly sure how far the bus routes get there, but I could take a bus, as far that direction as humanly possible. And then, I will figure something out to close that last little gap, whether it be an Uber or, something along those lines.
What I'm getting at is you can check on that within the next 10 days before the family team meeting, correct?
Oh, I could have that information probably within an hour.
And you are asking that unsupervised parenting time be explored, correct?
Absolutely.
Whether it be in Ann Arbor, whether it be at your facility, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, they're just recording everything. Okay. Is there a psychologist on staff up there?
Can I allow Blaine? She is my therapist. I don't, is Blaine a psychologist or just a therapist?
Okay, okay, no. If you know, I'm just asking because it's been 90 days, we don't have a report. I just wondered if there's somebody up, a psychologist up there, I could get something done for you.
Oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood your question the first time. We actually, one of the directors at the residential program had previously called Miss Moore and asked her if she would be allowed to do my psychological evaluation, and Miss Moore told her no. So, I mean, I could probably reach out to this director at the residential and see if she would be willing to do one now. But I know it has been offered in the past.
Here's where the paternity controversy takes center stage. The mother explains that all involved adults discussed the possibility before the child's birth.
Okay, go for it. Have we covered everything that you want to cover today?
Yeah, I guess my only big thing was being able to explore extending my parenting time past the 2 hours a week.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks,
I have no questions.
Ms. Underwood.
Considering the fact that there's been little to no involvement with Mr. Wright in this case or in this case so far, do you think it would be reasonable to explore whether he actually is the biological father of your daughter?
No, I mean, I hope every day that he has the ability to get clean and move on with life to be nothing but a positive influence in his children's life. So no, I would have no desire for the other participant to be explored.
Do you think that your daughter is right to know who her biological parent is?
I mean, yes, it would be her right, but that again would be a conversation that I would have with her, when she were older, and then let her make the choice as to whether or not she would like to explore that.
Yeah.
What is the level of supervision like inside your current residence?
We from 9 to we basically run like the downstairs as a business 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So we have a staff member then, and then outside of those hours we have staff on call. And Kirsten's usually pretty good. Like if somebody needs to talk or, is struggling that day or whatever, if somebody calls her, she'll come back to the house at night and on weekends and, offer support to us.
How many people live inside the residence?
Currently at the moment, 7.
Are there any other children living in the facility?
Yes. And actually Kenzie knows them from residential. They play together when she comes for her visitations.
Are there background checks on all of the residents?
I would have to refer that question over to one of the staff members. I know when somebody does a phone screening wanting to come into housing, I know that the phone screening is brought to all of the residents of the house and gone over with all of the residents. And then we get a vote of yes or no, whether or not we feel like they would be a positive addition to our housing community or not. But I'm not sure how extensively that goes on like the staff side.
How long have you lived in the current place that you're at?
I got here December 11th, and I can stay up to 9 months.
Okay. And again, I'm just trying to get a better idea of, again, what a day-to-day situation is like in the new place, because previously we really asked a lot of questions about the former facility, right? So
Yep.
Where you currently are, since you've been there, so it's been about a month, has there been any police contact made?
No.
For any of the residents? Okay.
Nope.
And you're not asking at this point to take Kenzie outside of the residence for your parenting time?
I have not, no.
Is that something that if you were to continue with visits, you would ask to be able to take her outside of the residence?
Yes, there would possibly be occasions where, depending on when the parenting time was scheduled, where about little over half a mile up the road, we have something called the Unity Club, which I participate pretty much Monday through Thursday in outside Peer 360 and NA meetings. And then again, about a mile up the road at the health department, we have one on Friday. So depending on if any of the parenting time would coincide with that, I would ask permission to be able to take her to my meetings with me. But outside of that, as of right now, I'm still new to the area. I wouldn't be really asking to go anywhere, maybe once it got warmer, like to the park and things like that.
Okay, and do you think that your daughter participating in these meetings is in her best interest?
Absolutely. The Peer 360 groups of what I have considered what we call our home groups. In addition to having my recovery coach here at the house, I also have an additional recovery coach through Peer 360 that I can, text or call if I'm, just having a bad day or just want somebody to talk to, need somebody to talk to. She supports me with getting back and forth to the Unity Club on some of the days I walk when it's nicer out, when it's real cold, I can call her and say, hey, can you come pick me up for the meeting and things. So this is where I'm really starting to build and develop my solid foundation and my support family and my support system and my tribe, as we call it. So yes, being able to introduce her to what is starting to become, my second family would be definitely one of my priorities.
Okay, and then is there childcare at the current place that you're at? Because I know there was at the other place.
There is not inside childcare here. However, the other residents whose children do attend daycare, they attend a daycare that is very familiar.
The father finally takes the stand. He admits communication problems, financial struggles, transportation barriers, and housing instability affected his involvement.
With the program. The licensed daycare provider, I would have to get you the for sure name of it. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know the lady that runs it, she's very understanding and works with a lot of the girls here and things like that. There's been times where if like transportation has been an issue for one of the girls, the lady that runs the daycare has brought children like home to the house for them, things like that. So she's very accommodating and very willing to work with all of us and knows and understands what the house is in the program.
Okay, just to clarify, so are all of the residents that are at this facility or at this home, are they all females?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I wasn't aware of that. No further questions.
Outside of two of the minor children are males, but
Okay, and how many minor children are living in that home right now?
3.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay.
Do you have the opportunity to work while you're in this program?
Yes, ma'am, I do. There's actually a place again, just about a half a mile down the road that again is also very familiar with the program and what the residents are trying to do through the program that is pretty accommodating to employment opportunities that now that I'm done with some almost nearly done with some pretty extensive dental work. I am making arrangements to go up there and speak to that manager about some form of employment to start until I can find something a little bit more, I guess, what I want to do rather than just, having the job.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland, any questions?
No.
Mr. Brooks?
I have none.
Ms. Underwood, any questions based on my questions? Okay,
No, Your Honor.
thank you. Anyone else, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I would just ask Mr. Wright to be sworn in.
If you could swear in Mr. Matthew Wright, who's also appearing with us by Zoom.
Mr. Wright, can you turn your camera back on, please?
Yes, 1 second.
Thank you.
I didn't know it was off, actually.
Very good. Please raise your right hand. Do Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I, oh, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Wright, I just was going to ask a couple of questions. At this point, are you interested in engaging in your case service plan?
Yes.
And what are the barriers to, I guess, communicating with Miss Moore?
Communication, there's numerous different things. I was going through a pretty hard time. Was low on funds. I had broke my phone at one point, and it took me a while to get another one. And
I'm not getting
then,
any audio. I don't know if that's just my issue or for anyone else.
I think it
I
might
can
be
hear
just you,
him.
Ms. Underwood.
okay. Well, and then the other part was housing. Yeah. I
I could hear you just fine, Judge, but I did not hear anything that Mr. Wright said.
Yeah, we can hear him, Ms. Underwood, so I don't, did you hear
should I-
Ms. Thomas when she spoke?
yeah, I can hear her.
Yes,
Hang
I
on,
could hear
Mr.
her as well. I just can't hear Mr. Wright for some reason.
Should I continue or?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We're having the same issue. We can hear everybody else, but we can't hear him either. I don't know if that maybe makes a difference.
That's not a problem I can solve, unfortunately.
So I should continue on or?
I can hear him just fine now, so.
Yep, we can hear him now.
All right. But yeah, and then the housing thing, I since have got
A therapist from the treatment program provides additional testimony. She describes extensive screening procedures, structured housing conditions,
gotten like a permanent spot to stay. My grandparents, basically they've left the house with us. My grandmother's still alive, but she is going into assisted living. So me and my brother are inheriting the residence. So I'm currently living there, but that's in Chelsea, and all the meetings and stuff are out. She wanted to do it out in Hillsdale. And I don't have a license, so I'm kind of within a rock and a hard place. Do I drive and take the risk and do, what she's wanting, or, or not do it, and then I end up in this position?
Okay. I think we can address that off the record, but I just wanted to confirm that you were still interested in engaging in your case service plan, and that there were no barriers to your communication with Miss Moore moving forward.
No, none at all, ma'am.
Okay. And would you like to add anything about the paternity issue?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Questions, Mr. McFarland?
Just two, is it true that when you signed this acknowledgement of paternity, you at least had a belief that you might not be the father?
It had been mentioned, yes, but it was never made to be a very serious thing. I can kind of say. I mean, it's a touchy. It's a very touchy subject.
So you have no problem paying child support on a child that might not be yours? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, nothing further.
Mr. Brooks?
Do you want a DNA test?
No.
You do realize that's the only locked, solid, sure answer to the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have nothing further.
Questions, Ms. Underwood?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Any other witnesses?
No.
Witness testimony today, Mr. McFarland?
One question from the worker
Go ahead.
to the worker. Is it true, as my client testified, that They offered a psychologist to perform a test and you declined?
Not exactly. So the psychological with Dr. Hagen was already paid for when they came up with the idea that somebody there could do it. So I said, considering it's already paid for, it's a little late. You have to go to the one I already scheduled and paid out. So that was the issue. They can do it now, but my issue was just that it was already paid for and they're not cheap.
No, you pay for it since you're not getting any results from what you paid for?
I guess that's an issue we need to address with them, but I have
Okay.
tried.
Nothing further from this witness, Your Honor.
Anyone else that you want?
Yes, I see Blaine Adams. She's been patiently waiting, if I could call her.
Deputy Ames, if you could swear in Blaine Adams, please.
Please raise your right hand, Ms. Adams. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Ma'am, how are you familiar with my client, the mother?
I work for Saginaw Odyssey House. I'm the outpatient therapist.
Okay, I saw you nodding your head on several questions or shaking your head, so question asked by a guardian ad litem, are the ladies there screened? Can you answer that?
Yes, we run a criminal and criminal sexual conduct background check for all the clients coming in.
And none of them have registered positive on that test for being an offender, is that correct?
No criminal sexual conduct offenders. We don't allow them because we are a women and children's facility and their safety is our priority. But obviously we do have some criminal charges.
Sure. Okay. And is there anything that you want to add about parenting time, supervised, unsupervised, etc., that would be helpful that you believe?
Well, they asked a lot of questions about the layout of the environment there. So I just wanted to add that it was previously a home for boys. It was a Holy Cross home for runaways. And so the downstairs is like a public area where everybody is at. We have a group room, a kitchen, a living room, and a play area for the kids. And then upstairs is where all of the residents live. And then we are a women and children's facility. So we do provide needs for the children like high chairs, car seats, cribs or pack and plays, things like that. We just have like a storage area of kids' needs so that we can pull them out as needed.
Do other children physically live there?
Yes, correct. Actually, one of our clients just got her children returned to her there.
Would you be willing to participate in a family team meeting where we would have more time, you'd have more time to explain the setup and people could ask you questions at will? Would you be available for that?
Yeah, of course. I can provide my email too if needed so that you guys can include me on.
The judge delivers a detailed analysis. While recognizing the mother's significant progress, the court stresses that recovery remains fragile. Employment, transportation, stable housing,
Conversations or questions.
I'll see if the court wants to do that when we're off the record. Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any questions of Mr. McFarland's two witnesses so far?
No.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Anyone else, Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor, my client's already told me what I need to know.
Witnesses today, Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I don't, at this point, Your Honor, we're just asking for guidance from the court as relates to parenting time, how to move forward with that for Ms. Lumley and what the court believes is best for the child. And then as relates to paternity, we would also seek guidance from the court. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McFarland, any comments?
Looks like everybody's on board to family team meetings, so we can hammer out the details. The worker seems to be agreeable to unsupervised parenting time right now, so we'd ask that the court allow them to have unsupervised, but the details be worked out through a family team meeting, so everybody can be satisfied the child is safe. I'm sure my client's agreeable with that.
Comments, Mr. Brooks?
Well, with respect to guidance from the court as to the paternity of this child, I don't think any guidance from the court at this point is needed or appropriate. My client is the father, period, the end. He should be warned, since he hasn't had much communication, that if he continues to follow the current path that he's on, it is 100% certain his parental rights will be terminated. And I think somebody needs to tell him that, and I guess it's me. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments, Ms. Underwood?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I understand that there's an AOP signed. It's pretty clear by the testimony that the parties were both aware of the fact that there's a potential that Mr. Wright's not the father. I think the fact that he has been largely absent in this case shows a lack of commitment to this child, and she deserves to know who her biological relatives are in this matter. I represent her interests, and again, I believe that exploring the true paternity of her is reasonable. I understand that there may be certain procedures that we would need to follow, but I would advocate for exploring that. As far as expansion of parenting time, I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but I would like a family team meeting, as well as just some we need to have some clarification as to what the expectations of the foster placement are, as far as transportation, as Saginaw is further away. It's a lot to expect of a foster placement to spend an entire day each week up somewhere if there are visitations happening and she's responsible for taking the child up there every week. But again, I do understand that Miss Lumley has been doing everything that has been asked of her for the most part, and that it's reasonable to expand that time. So again, I'm not opposed to that. I'm open to exploring that and participating in a family team meeting. I would ask that the child be continued in her current placement, as it is the least restrictive and in her best interest. And if there are issues with respect to Miss Lumley receiving information on doctor's appointments, I would ask that the caseworker make sure that she is informed of those so that she can participate as necessary. Thank you.
Okay with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. The court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's review hearing. It was also a permanency planning hearing as it relates to how it was docketed for the mother in this case. Reunification appears to be the appropriate goal for the child, at least with mother, who is engaging in services, including support through the rehabilitation facility for issues of substance use. There remains a risk of harm associated with returning the child to her care. Namely, she's just coming into the second phase of recovery. And although she's participating, the court would like to see, I agree with our witness testimony, that she needs to demonstrate an extended period of sobriety. We also need to see her gain employment, look at what's going to happen after transitional housing, engage in some parenting education around substance use and how that can affect parenting, frankly, or cause neglect in parenting, and really educate herself and maintain stability and permanency for herself so that she can demonstrate that she'd be able to do that for her child. That includes also transportation. Employment is very important in the next 3 to 6 months, in addition to maintaining sobriety. We're going to need to see Ms. Christina Lumley begin to be able to support herself, support her child, provide transportation for herself and her child. At this point, she is entirely dependent on the services and the providers at the Odyssey House. Her child is in the safest and least restrictive circumstances or placement, considering those circumstances, and considering the fact that the child is doing well there, is supported in that placement, and returning her to the mother at this juncture would present a risk of harm, specifically as it relates to relapse. And if something were to happen at Odyssey House, certainly without any additional supports that she's been able to put together herself, the child would be very much at risk of homelessness and neglect, and would not have the supports necessary. As it relates to the request to expand parenting time, I will direct that a family team meeting happen on that point. So we'll leave that to Ms. Moore to schedule. and what that looks like. The foster parents need to be at the table. Ms. Underwood hopefully will be able to be at the table for that, as well as obviously Ms. Lumley. So we'll count on Ms. Macy to organize that in a way that incorporates those supports. Probably some people from the Odyssey House to talk about what that looks like as well. Given that it is, there is no risk associated at this point with allowing unsupervised parenting time, understanding again that the success Ms. Lumley is having, which is great, is entirely dependent on her maintaining her sobriety and the supports that she has there at the Odyssey House. So it's appropriate and we're going to move into it, but I'm not expecting massive amounts of parenting time or extensive amounts of parenting time, because we need to see Ms. Lumley tackle a lot of those other areas that I've already articulated on before we can ask the foster parents to make that kind of commitment and the child to make that kind of commitment. It's a big change for a child at that age to expand into that a whole other effectively living environment. So all those voices at the table and respect for all of those positions will hopefully happen at that family team meeting spearheaded by Ms. Moore. She's also spearheaded plenty of services in the name of reunification, which were reviewed on the record and in the report, and that is satisfying her obligations. Our guardian ad litem is also satisfying her obligations, and all of those findings will be contained in the order. As it relates to the request to suspend the parenting time for Mr. Wright, I'm not going to suspend it at this time. I would continue to offer it to him to the extent that it should be as directed by Ms. Brene Moore. She has a program for reintroduction or for introduction in this case. And if Mr. Wright decides he's serious and wants to visit this child, he needs to go through Ms. Moore to make sure that that's not something that destabilizes the child, who's been out of placement from a parent since June of 2024 and is clearly doing well where she's placed. And we don't want to compromise that. The burden of transportation is obviously becoming an issue for her. We don't want her screaming for 2 hours at a time in order to facilitate parenting time with mom. So all those things need to be taken into account. We're here because of this child, and the efforts of the parents need to come up significantly in the next report period. We're going to have our next hearing in conjunction with a permanency planning hearing for those reasons. Okay, so I've addressed supervised parenting time. Oh, the DNA test, that's what it is. I will ask also Ms. Moore in the next review period to explore the issue of paternity as requested by our guardian ad litem. That means finding the gentleman who could potentially be the biological parent of this child, offering some DNA testing to Mr. Matthew Wright might be the first way, first and quickest way that referral. So that's contained in the court order, as well as the reminder to Ms. Moore that we need copies of the Native American inquiries that were sent. And I'll say, especially in light of the fact that the last order or the letter that was received simply indicates that there's not enough information in order to do a search. So we need to see those inquiries and make sure that we have forwarded any information that we need to. Okay, next review, April 15th, and permanency planning hearing as well at 1:30 p.m. April 15th at 1:30. I will have a copy of this order if anybody wants it, but unless there's any questions, that's all for today. We'll see you April 15th at 1:30.
Will the court allow Ms. Adams to exchange an email with the work group before we close her off?
For what purpose?
For the family team meeting, Your Honor, she'd like to participate.
Christina can just email it to me if she has it.
Okay, and they're nodding their heads, so that's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, or I
All
can
right.
give Blaine Miss Moore's email. Either way.
That
Thank you,
works.
ladies.
In the final moments, the judge refuses to suspend the father's parenting opportunities, but makes clear that greater effort is required. A family team meeting is ordered. Paternity questions will be explored, and additional tribal inquiry documentation must be produced before the next review hearing.